us will take over the Gaza Strip, and we will do a job with it too. We'll own it and be responsible for dismantling all of the dangerous unexploded bombs and other weapons on the site, level the site and get rid of the destroyed buildings, level it out, create an economic development that will supply unlimited numbers of jobs and housing for the people of the area. Do a real job, do something different. Just can't go back. If you go back, it's going to end up the same way it has for 100 years.
That's Donald Trump yesterday in a joint press conference with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu announcing, unlawfully, if I may add, that the United States is just going to occupy the Gaza Strip and level it and clear it out. His words, not mine. Because if the people of Gaza go back to their homes, it's just going to be the same thing that happens for the past 100 years. Ironically enough, he says this while standing next to the Prime Minister of the country that's been causing that damage for the last more than 100 years.
You are talking tonight about the United States taking over a sovereign territory. What authority would allow you to do that? Are you talking about a permanent occupation there, redevelopment? And Mr. Prime Minister, do you see this idea as a way to expand the boundaries of Israel and to have a longer peace, even though the Israeli people know how important that land is to you and your citizens, just as the space is inherited by the Palestinians as well?
I do see a long-term ownership position, and I see it bringing great stability to that part of the Middle East and maybe the entire Middle East. And everybody I've spoken to, this was not a decision made lightly. Everybody I've spoken to loves the idea of the United States owning that piece of land, developing and creating thousands of jobs with something that will be magnificent in a really magnificent area that nobody would know. Nobody can look because all they see is death and destruction and rubble and demolished buildings falling all over. It's just a terrible sight. I've studied it. I've studied this very closely over a lot of months, and I've seen it from every different angle, and it's a very, very dangerous place to be, and it's only going to get worse. And I think this is an idea that's gotten tremendous, and I'm talking about from the highest level of leadership, gotten tremendous praise. And if the United States can help to bring stability.
Okay, so he's talking about moving all of the people in Gaza out of Gaza, leveling it, and the United States developing it. Once again, as the reporter pointed out, he's talking about occupying a sovereign nation. He would need an act from Congress to do that, first and foremost. But secondly, he's standing next to the guy who is the prime minister of the country that's the reason why those buildings are destroyed. Now, Trump says he wants the United States to own it and develop it and create thousands of new jobs. So why can't the Palestinians have those jobs? It's their home. It's their land. Develop it and create jobs for the Palestinian people. Why does it have to be that the Palestinians have to move out and the Americans occupy it, develop it, and create jobs for the Israelis? You want to help the Palestinian people and you want to develop this parcel of land, then do so. Develop it and give jobs to the Palestinian people. But that's not the plan, is it? Of course not. The plan is most likely to slap some kind of building over there that has the name Trump on it, would be my guess.
Yeah, I would like to see Jordan. I'd like to see Egypt take some look. The Gaza thing has not worked. It's never worked. And I feel very differently about Gaza than a lot of people. I think they should get a good, fresh, beautiful piece of land, and we get some people to put up the money to build it and make it nice and make it habitable and enjoyable and make it a home.
They don't want to leave, though. Palestinians say they don't want to leave.
I don't know how they could want to stay. It's a demolition site. It's a pure demolition site. If we could find the right piece of land or numerous pieces of land and build them some really nice places with plenty of money in the area, that's for sure. I think that would be a lot better than going back to Gaza, which has had just decades and decades of death.
Yes, because it keeps getting bombed. Your town would look like a demolition site if a nation pinned you in and bombed you for decades as well. But once again, you want to spend the money to develop some random piece of land in another country for the Palestinians to go live in, and also spend the money to develop Gaza to be this beautiful new place. Why can't the Palestinians live there? Instead of spending money to develop two pieces of land, spend the money to develop Gaza alone, and the Palestinians don't have to leave. You get your development, they get a place to live. All you got to do is get your boy Netanyahu to stop fucking bombing them. To all of you people who couldn't bring yourself to vote for Kamala Harris because of her position on the Israeli-Palestinian war, for all of you people who abstained from voting either altogether or just for the top of the ticket because you couldn't bring yourself to vote. You needed somebody in the White House that was going to defend and protect the Palestinians in Gaza. You own this shit. This is you. This is entirely on you. And to the Republican MAGA supporting Trump voters who have been telling us for years that Trump is the no new wars president. Well, on top of threatening to invade Panama, and on top of threatening to invade Greenland, and on top of threatening a soft invasion at a minimum with the nation of Mexico, and on top of potentially starting some type of conflict with Canada in order to absorb them to become the 51st state, now he wants to occupy a sovereign piece of land in the Middle East. Seems like that no new wars shit is right out the window this time around, huh? Congratulations to all you far left, holier than thou, I must stand on my soapbox and teach the Democratic Party a lesson, motherfuckers out there. You built this. Now own it. By the way, if I could just throw a little PS on this video. Coming in and occupying somebody else's nation and relocating them to another piece of land somewhere else. How American. That's the reason why we have indigenous tribes on small carved out pieces of land dotted across the countryside. Because we came in and took somebody else's land and relocated them, resettled them somewhere else. Just, we're going to give you a nice, big, beautiful piece of land and it's going to be awesome and you're going to be fine. We're going to develop this land that you used to be on. Yeah, we've heard this story before.